Welcome to the Financial Edge. I'm Erin Kennedy with Chris Hoffman. Today, Chris and I are talking through the biggest retirement regrets and how to avoid them. Chris is the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, an Atlanta area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful and happy retirement. Chris is also the popular radio show host of Money Unleashed, and Hoffman Financial Group is the official partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Chris, this is a really incredible study from Consumer Affairs. 60% of seniors have regrets about how they prepared or didn't for retirement. Among the regrets, 63% wish they had planned their investments to provide automatic income. How do we avoid that mistake?
Well, so 401ks don't generate income, right? So you have to start early in that process. When you're 59 and a half, not a lot of people realize that you're eligible under most 401k plans to roll that money out to an IRA. So you're not stuck with the 10 or 20 options inside that 401k. You can actually move it to an IRA and broaden the number of investments that you have. And those investments can be earmarked to generate income for you. So you don't have to move all of your 401k, but maybe half of it, and start to develop an income plan. And I would start doing that in your 50s. I wouldn't wait until your 60s. Anywhere from 50 to 59 and a half, you can move that money out once you turn 59 and a half. If you're below 59 and a half, then use your after-tax money or your Roth money and work with that on how can I invest that to generate income.
Another 85% wish they had built their portfolios to deal with the unexpected, including inflation and market volatility.
Yeah, that's a shocker. So it's rare, if ever, somebody has called and come in for the first time and said, here's my financial plan. And it includes income strategies, tax strategies, protection strategies. And, you know, what you just said is pretty impactful, that they're not prepared for it. So you need to meet with a financial advisor to map all this out, in my opinion.
Another regret is something you just touched on, which is not considering tax implications. This is the danger of most of us having the bulk of our savings in tax-deferred accounts like 401ks.
Yeah, and the government's caused that. So they made the mistake in the 80s of doing away with pensions, which was a guaranteed income stream. And they made a bigger mistake, I think, in allowing all of the money to be invested in tax-deferred accounts. So basically, you're saying, I'm going to invest this money in my 401k and avoid paying taxes on the front end, but you lose the mental connection to the fact that eventually the tax bill is due. So it becomes a tax trap later in life. When you turn 73, you're going to have your RMDs. The older you get, the higher percentage you need to take out of that money. And you can find yourself paying more in taxes in your retirement years than you did when you were working. And that's flipped. So we work very hard with our clients to decouple them from two words, income tax. We want no income tax in retirement. Capital gains tax are fine, or better yet, tax-free investing is preferable.
The study also mentions the dangers of putting your investments on autopilot. So one investor shared his experience of putting all of his funds in a robo-advised portfolio, which had 20% in mortgage-backed securities, among other poorly performing sectors at that time. And his regret was not working with a human professional advisor.
Yeah, there's something to be said for sitting and looking into the eyes of the person that's managing your money and having them explain how they're rebalancing your portfolio. I do think that you need to rebalance your portfolio regularly, but you need to work with an advisor who can explain what they did, why they did it, and explain to you the risk profile, because that example was clearly on the heavy risk and wanting to make a lot of money off of it, and I'm not so sure that client necessarily understood that. So understanding exactly how your portfolio is built, setting benchmarks is a big key, and it's missing largely at Wall Street. So if you have an investment portfolio, set a benchmark to compare it to and hold your advisor accountable to beating that benchmark. And then you should also understand the risk profile of that portfolio and know if the market falls, how exposed am I to losses.
Are those questions that you would be able to answer in your portfolio X-ray that you provide?
Yeah, absolutely. And that would be the analysis on your current portfolio. So it gives, I always say it reveals 2 or 3 golden nuggets of information. And you do not even need to move it out of your retirement account, whether it's a 401k, 403b, TSP. We can not only run the report, we can do an optimization report so the money can stay where it is and you can rebalance it. So you actually do not need to become a client for us to do that analysis and that recommendation for you.
So, Chris, I've shared with you these stats from Consumer Reports, but you have been doing this for a very long time. I would like to hear from you in your professional experience what you've heard from clients among their biggest regrets.
Not calling a financial advisor early and waiting until they had $1 million in their portfolio to do so.
Interesting.
So I don't know why $1 million is the big number, because inflation has raised it from 1 million to 1.2 to 1.5 to 1.9. But yeah, there's a hesitation in people saying, and I when people call and come in for the first time, I have multiple examples of them looking at me and saying, I know I'm not your biggest client. And I had to correct somebody and say, sir, you have a $7,500 monthly pension plus Social Security. You make $10,000 a month in retirement on a guaranteed basis. You're the richest guy I know. Yeah. Who wouldn't want that? And he thought he wasn't wealthy because he only had about $500,000 in investable assets. So throw those concerns aside. When you have a accumulated wealth that you would not want to lose a material amount of, and you're ready to retire, engage with somebody.
And just to remind people watching, making a phone call or having a second opinion or getting a portfolio x-ray does not mean a commitment. No. It doesn't mean that you and I are going to be, signing up to work together.
That's right. So we'll do the portfolio x-ray. We'll even do an optimization report for you. And only then, after you've had time to look at it, digest it, we walk you through it, you leave, think about it for a while. If you want to take the next step, you can come back and we will complete a full income plan with tax strategies and put it in a full financial plan, mapping things out from today's age to age 100. And then you can become a client.
Great. Chris, thank you so much.
My pleasure.